Hey guys, welcome back to another video on Games Edition, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the Logitech G923 True Force racing wheel. And what we're going to be looking at today is whether it's worth it to upgrade from the G920 or the G29 racing wheel, and we're going to be showing you guys some gameplay on what it's like to use. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the differences between this new gen, which is compatible with the PS5, and the previous gen. So one of the main things that you see Logitech talking about on the advertisements is that this new version has True Force. And we're going to get to that True Force bit when we're looking at some gameplay footage. And let's talk about some of the other differences. So you've got different logos. Now on the previous gen, I'll flash an image on the screen for you guys now. You didn't have this Logitech logo right here. You had just Logitech writing. So you had that right there and that here. And the other main difference is now for the Xbox variant and the PlayStation variant, the wheel is the exact same. So you have the scroll here, the enter, the volume up and down. It's basically the same, and last gen's wasn't the same because the PlayStation one had all of these knobs and buttons, all the extra stuff, but the Xbox one was just clean and simple. It had just the normal D-pad buttons and then these R3, R2, L1 and L3. It didn't have the volume stuff or the share options on PlayStation buttons. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some of the internal specs and the things on the external things of this wheel. So, same as last year, you have the leather wrapped steering wheel, which has a really good feel to it, and the design overall is pretty good. And as for the internals, well, you have a race proven spec trusted dual motor force feedback mechanism. So you actually have two motors in this one. So you got one on this side, one on this side. That's probably why there's dual vents here for both the motors. And also, just as last year, you still got your aluminium racing wheels. So you got aluminium all here, and then the wheel itself is wrapped in leather, and then you've also got your aluminium blue line here to tell you whether the wheel is centered or not. And a new addition which is coming to both the PlayStation model and the Xbox variant of this force feedback racing wheel is the rev counter. Now the rev counter, I will show you some footage of that working in Need for Speed. And as we're talking about games, now I can talk to you guys about what games this thing's actually compatible with. So first thing you're going to want to do is download the Logitech software for the wheel or any of your Logitech accessories. I'll have this linked down below in the description so you guys can download it in case you are thinking of buying this wheel, or it's just easier for you guys to find it, because I'll have a link in the description. So you come here, and if you go to this tab here where it says desktop default, you can actually program different games to have different centering, spring strength, sensitivity, operating range, torque, audio effects, and a lot of this stuff. And since we're talking about the audio effects, we'll talk about the True Force. Now the True Force actually uses in-game audio to replicate how the force feedback works on the wheel. So you have the audio effects from in your game which replicate the force feedback on your wheel. And as you can see here, if you want to calibrate your wheel, change the operating range, things like that, right? At the moment I've got it on the full operating range, so if I turn this thing all the way like that, you guys can see it's on the full operating range. And for the games, now if you want to see what games are compatible, now in my library I've got Forza Horizon 4, Need for Speed, Truck Simulator, and a few other games. Now the ones that this wheel is actually compatible with is Euro Truck Simulator, Grand Theft Auto, and Need for Speed. Now as you guys can see, Forza isn't here, and that's because this wheel doesn't fully support Forza Horizon 4. You can use it on Forza Horizon 4 and get the force feedback, but you won't be able to get some of the extra features such as the rev counter will not work in Forza, but it will work in Need for Speed and Grand Theft Auto and Euro Truck Simulator 2, but it won't work in Forza because it doesn't have full compatibility. So double check the games that this thing supports before you buy it, because you might be playing a game that you might be getting this to play a game that it doesn't support. And just for you guys, I'll have a screen right here, a tab, which will show you guys all the games that this thing is compatible with. Okay, so moving on to the pedals. So you've got your three pedals here, your clutch, your brake and your accelerator. Now your clutch has a real good feel to it. Your brake is actually really firm and stiff. It's actually so stiff that if you press it the wrong way, you can actually move the whole board forwards if you're on carpet. And then you've got a nicely feeling accelerator which has these rubber pads. Now all three pedals have these rubber pads, so if you're using this barefoot or with socks on, you'll have the grip, you'll have perfect grip, or even if you're wearing shoes, you'll have perfect grip on all the pedals. And I'll show you some pedal settings that we have right here on the Logitech software. Now, going back onto the Logitech software, you can even customize the pedals. So you've got your clutch sensitivity, your brake sensitivity, and your accelerator sensitivity. And then you've got combined pedals. So the combined pedals is, for example, you can use your brake pedal to be your reverse in game, or you can turn combined pedals off and just have brakes solely as your brake pedal. So the settings I'm running for the pedal sensitivity is, so the clutch is on stock, so it's on 50, the brake's on 55, and the accelerator is on 50. And as for the wheel, I have the force feedback centering spring strength on 60%, because if this is on 100%, you can literally fracture your hand. That's how strong the force feedback is on this with the dual motors. So the force feedback is actually really strong on this. That's why I've got it on 60%, because you can literally fracture your hand. Now for those of you who find the torque of this wheel a bit too harsh for you or a bit too much, then you can go to this box where it says apply settings from game. You can click the box, so the settings from game won't actually match the wheel. You can adjust the things yourself individually. So once you've removed the tick from that box, you can actually change the torque to your liking, as you can see, and you can change the audio effects to your liking. Okay, so now that we've talked about the software and the new things on the wheel and the pedals, let's get on to some gameplay footage. So I'm going to have one camera showing you guys the wheel and the pedals, and then I'm going to have the main screen showing the gameplay. Okay, so the first game we're going to be playing with the Logitech G923 is Forza Horizon 4. Now, I'm going to be showing you guys what it sounds like when it's under operation and the rev counter, because on this game the rev counter doesn't work, and you guys can see and hear what this thing is like to use when playing games. Okay, let's go.
In 200 meters, turn left.
Okay, so as you guys can hear, unlike Need for Speed, the operation of the wheel is actually is significantly quieter. Because in Need for Speed, it actually uses the audio of the in-game to replicate how the force feedback works. So therefore, the force feedback makes the operation a lot more louder. However, in Forza Horizon 4, because the force feedback true force doesn't work, because the audio files with this game doesn't support the steering wheel, I don't know why. You guys can search for that if you want further information on why Forza doesn't fully support this. And because of that, the operation in Forza Horizon 4 is actually pretty quiet. Now I'm going to be quiet for you guys so you can hear what it's like, and I'll get close up to the wheel. The sounds of the paddle shifts are very satisfying on this. Okay, so if we drop a few gears, if we slow down, drop a few gears all the way to first, and we just send it in first, I'm going to show you guys the the rev counter here. So if you just go really fast but stay in first, so as you guys can see, we're near enough to the red line, and you can see that this rev counter here doesn't work. Now let's switch to Need for Speed and show you guys a game that actually supports this and what the sounds and what it's like on that game. Okay, so the next game we're testing is Need for Speed Heat, and I'm going to be showing you guys the force feedback on this game, and I'm also going to be showing you guys the rev counter working, which is right here. Okay, so let's get into some driving. Now, just like Forza, when you brake really hard, the steering wheel has this vibration. So if I speed up here and do a really hard brake, you can hear the wheel vibrating. Now if you bring the camera here, you guys can see the rev counter working. So when it's time for me to upshift, it starts blinking, flashing. So I'll just show you guys an example now. So if we focus on the rev counter, it starts flashing when I need to change, when I need to upshift. And back to the screen. And now I'm going to be quiet so that you guys can hear and see what the wheel is like in operation. So if you just focus on the wheel now, just on the wheel. If you guys want to see me do some POVs on driving on Need for Speed with this wheel, let me know in the comment section down below. I can make that happen. Okay, so we're now at the beach, and why I came here is because I want to show you how the wheel reacts when you're on a different terrain. So we're going to be driving on some sand, and the wheel will actually go loose because you're on a soft terrain. So I'm going to show you that now. And there we are. As soon as we actually drive onto the beach, you can feel the lumps through the wheel in the sand, and the wheel has gone really soft and smooth. So you can actually turn it with not much force at all. So here's my finger, and if we focus on the wheel, I can actually just turn it with one finger. That's how easy it is. And if you do some drifting on the beach, you'll see that the wheel actually turns another way, which to redirect you. So if we just do that now, focus on the wheel. Okay, so if we pause there and go to an actual racetrack where there's tarmac and do some drifting, I'll show you guys the difference. Okay, so we're now at a racetrack where I can show you what the drifting physics for this wheel are like on tarmac. So let's get to the bit of the course where I can show you guys. Now I did switch cars because the GTR all-wheel drive isn't the best thing to use for drifting. Okay, so let's show you guys. Now hopefully my cameraman can get the shot of the wheel and the screen both in. Okay, so the turn's coming. Let's slow down, watch on the brake. Now the wheel tries its best to actually correct me. however I'm drifting, so I don't really need it to correct me. I want to get the back end out. Now if you just focus solely on the wheel, and on both the screen and the wheel. And that's how it handles when you're on tarmac. Okay, and that's it for this video, guys. If you want to see me do some more stuff with this Logitech G923 racing wheel, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, let me know in the comment section down below if you want to see me do some POVs with this. And that's about it, guys. So if you like what we do around here, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.